Heatherfeatherasmr was a YouTuber who had over 500,000 subscribers and just disappeared, absolutely gone, without a trace. And we're going to talk about her today. So if you want to hear what happened to this particular person, stick around. If not, have a good day. So today we're continuing on with our ASMR kind of what happened series, and this series seems to be very well received. We did one with a couple of different ones, ASMR Gavino, and this is the biggest one though, I think. Heather Feather was an ASMR artist, one of the absolute first, and as of right now has 527,000 subscribers with 329 videos. Now, she also has a presence on Facebook, was able to get 16,000 followers there, 18,000 followers on Instagram, so yeah, kind of a big deal out there in the ether. And when she first started, it was 10 plus years ago, started off with role plays. Started off with the role plays. It quickly became, not quickly, maybe within a year, some trigger videos and whatnot. But there's three different things, three different theories, if you will, that I was able to come up with as to why she left. Without a trace, gone. Without a trace, why would you leave 500,000 subscribers and all of that on the table? Well, we're going to go over three things. Number one, maybe she's sick, maybe she's dead. I know that that's crass, and it's not true, at least from what I can tell, but this is number one theory. Not my theory, but kind of everyone's theory, is the number one theory. And the second one is the people. Maybe she was subject to some harassment. And then number three is just wanting to be done. So to start off briefly with the first one, when she was posting videos, she went for a couple of years, and I guess she had a crazy health scare, health emergency. It needed surgery, had to go to the hospital, and was very much like blogging about it. And so people knew what to expect. People knew that she was having some issues, having some troubles. And then she came back after a hiatus. So she did leave before and then come back, and then came back with a charge. And I guess she got a new house. She basically refurnished her basement, put all of these different things in there, and she was ready to go. She was happy, she was excited. So when she stopped making videos, people, it's natural, hey, if you had health problems before, maybe you have health problems now, and maybe those health problems cause you to succumb. My first piece of defense to this is the media, a bunch of parasites that they are, trying to cling on to anything that's going to give them views. If an ASMR artist died that 500,000 views, they would put it everywhere on the news. I've seen stories that I've clicked on that were like, TikToker, is a TikToker even a thing? It's like, other than YouTube, I'm not on any social media, but like TikTok star, and I'm like, well, what's it? That's very sad. And I read the article, and it's like a TikTok star with like 200 followers, and I'm like, 200 followers, like, very sad that they died, but a star like it. So if someone with over 500,000 views was known and they perished, you would hear about it as a way to publish and get viewers. Number two is the people on the Reddit forums. There's apparently people out there, and I came across them, supposedly Heather Feather's friends, that said, no, she's fine, she's cool, it's whatever, and she just didn't want to be doing this anymore. Now, how can you verify that? I could say that I am the deposed the son of the deposed king of Namibia's long lost, son, cousin's brother, and I need you to send me $2,000. You know how the scam works, and people like my grandpa fall for it. Um, I could say that I'm anybody's anything, and why do people do that? To bring attention to themselves. I've seen people like on YouTube videos that is like, watch this guy do this, and it's a video of a guy acting a fool, and someone going in the comments saying, "Hey, don't make fun of me pretending to be the guy in the video when they're not." Why? Because it brings all this attention to them. So I don't know if those are actually her friends. Who knows? Who knows? They could also be the son of the deposed king of Namibia. I don't know, on a different day or on a different forum. But I think the number one proof that Heather Feather is not dead is actually something that there's a lot of people that are very upset with her about having a Patreon. We're going to get to Patreon in the third thing that we talked to, but a Patreon is something that is like a GoFundMe. It's like before you had sugar daddies, you could virtually have sugar daddies, sugar mamas, whatever you want to call them, and before you could make money on YouTube, when you were not making money on YouTube, you had this thing called a Patreon, and they take an absurd amount of money. Patreon takes this absurd amount of money off the top, but people can donate to you every month, and Heather Feather still has this despite not putting videos up. And this is not a place for me to pass judgment or not judgment on her, but a lot of people are upset that she's gone away, but she still has people paying her on the Patreon every single month. And someone actually said that Heather is actively scamming people. She does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. They don't know her personally. Patreon is not uploading anything new. And apparently this person actually posted something on the Patreon. I don't know how it works, I really don't. But apparently there's a place for like public comments, posted something on the Patreon, and it was removed. And so if Heather was not actively alive, that's the stupidest phrase I could have used, then, who's removing that? And so, I think that the biggest objection, the most hate that she has is the fact she still has this Patreon. And we'll talk about this in number 3 a little bit, but supposedly people who, leave nasty remarks on the Patreon, those comments get removed. So actively monitoring it, and yeah, so I don't think it's death, and I don't think that it's sickness. So number 2 of what could have happened, when I got into it, looking at these things and these forums and these Reddits and all of this, dive down these crazy paths and weird rabbit trails, I came across somebody who said that she was getting stalked and harassed by perverts. Hopefully you all know this by now, and this is not earth-shattering to you, but there's a lot of perverts in the world, and the invention of the internet and social media has caused an uptick in stalkers, not reduced it, because now it's just, you have a social media society. They don't have, in-person interactions, anxiety, depression, isolation, all of these things, kind of a perfect storm. But I could not find this, but apparently Heather Feather supposedly made a post about how she was being stalked and harassed. Now, there's a ton of people out there, I would say mostly women. I don't think men, make a lot of money off of this, stalked and harassed through things like OnlyFans, and making money off of it, because this world is so sick that literally they know they're going to be harassed, they know they're going to be stalked, and so they say, if you go to my page, you can stalk me and harass me, but you're going to have to pay me for it. So here's a link to my OF, or whatever websites they have going on now. Now, when it comes to Heather Feather, she's literally the opposite of that. Her videos did not at all get that in that direction. You see a lot of highly sexualized ASMR. Makes me sick, honestly. It really does. Not because people shouldn't be able to do that, but I'm thinking about all of those countries that have outlawed ASMR, and I don't know if you all know that, but there's countries that have outlawed ASMR because they are saying that it's like pornographic, and it's not. ASMR is not pornographic, but you have a lot of people, I've seen quite a few people that use ASMR as like a softcore version of their adult content. And of course, these are a lot of the ASMR artists that you see hundreds of thousands of views. And remember what I said about the perverts. There's no shortage of them. So I'm just bringing this up to say, this is the exact opposite of Heather Feather. She didn't do any of this kind of stuff. So, but it's difficult to find any information on whether she was subject to harassment or stalking. Now, number 3 is what I think is the most probable to have happened, and that is the fact that YouTube's just so much different. It's so different than when she started. I made a video about 14 years ago, just a compilation. It was stupid. A compilation of videos. I used to like doing some video editing, fights, movies. And I posted this video. Like I said, it wasn't a good video, and it got over 2 million views. You did not have to do anything in the early days of YouTube to get popular. It was like, nowadays, it's like being a drop in an ocean. Then it was like being a drop in a pond. YouTube promoted you. YouTube showed your videos to people. And you did not have to be great. Understand, I'm not saying she wasn't good at what she was doing. I'm saying you did not have to be good at what you were doing to get a lot of viewers and subscribers. A lot of the ASMR artists that you see with hundreds of thousands to over 1 million subscribers were those who were there over 10 years ago. And then YouTube changed the algorithm, changed everything. And now you have to post every day. Because of being a drop in the ocean, YouTube stops promoting your videos almost instantly. And so it takes so much more effort and everything else. Now, where you have the trade-off is that now they pay you, and that's honestly where a lot of the competition comes from. When YouTube was 10, 12, 14 years ago, there was no incentive whatsoever to post a video. You were not making money. You would have people scam you a lot, put it in your comments. If you left an email or something, they would say, hey, I'll pay you this much to advertise on your videos, and they never would because they were scamming people. There was nothing but hate on YouTube, honestly, back then, and it was not worth it at all, because you get 1 million views. Okay, you just made YouTube advertising money. You didn't make you money, you made YouTube money. But the draw in was they would advertise you, and you get subscribers, and you would get views very easily. And you just don't do that anymore. Another thing is that ASMR is so different than it was when she was there. It was much smaller when ASMR started. There's a lot of that unboxing and role plays. Look at Massage ASMR. It's a great example of what ASMR was during the early days of ASMR. The early days of Lloyd's ASMR, Ephemeral Rift, Fred's Voice. It was, we're baking something in the kitchen. It was this, it was this, it was this. ASMR typically was not, hey guys, like it wasn't like that, like 50 triggers in 20 minutes. ASMR wasn't really like that as much. And everything has kind of changed, I think, with a cat named Jojo. And I'm not a huge fan of the trigger videos, so I don't have as much in that realm of understanding. And I definitely don't want this to come off like I'm hating on Jojo, because I'm not. Good for him. I think he deserves, whatever he's got. But ASMR became very different. And my style of ASMR is very old school. Role plays and the unintentional ASMR style. Whereas a lot of ASMR artists these days, and especially the popular ones, are the trigger fiends. And they post often, and they post all these triggers. And I'll have people coming onto my videos saying, this is an ASMR because you didn't do 16,000 triggers in 42 seconds. And I'm like, that's not ASMR. ASMR is a response that is personal to you. Autonomic sensory meridian response. That is ASMR. What we are doing as content creators is we are doing whatever soft-spoken role plays. What we're doing is not ASMR. What you might be feeling is ASMR. And so there's no right or wrong ASMR, because it's what you feel. It's personal to you. But ASMR now, compared to what it was when Heather Feather was doing it, totally different. Not totally different, because she did do a couple of trigger videos, but very different. And like I said, the whole structure of it, you look at channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, over 1 million subscribers. They post a new video and they get 8,000 views, over 1 million subscribers. That drop in the ocean makes it very, very difficult. So not only are you a drop in the ocean, but if you're Heather Feather, you're in an ocean that it looks very different from the one you started in. And I think that is probably more likely than any other reason why she just doesn't want to do anymore. It's different than the game that she joined. So I think that's probably the most likely. As I said, she was using that Patreon before you could get monetized for advertising. She still has a Patreon. I don't really have a problem with it, only because if you don't want to be on the Patreon, you can cancel your subscription. It's that easy. It's not like you're locked in. It's not like a mortgage. You're not locked in for 20 years. And if you go to some of her bigger categories, like the $100 a month or $50 a month, no one's doing these anyways. So if someone is paying her, it's like $1 or something like that in that dollar category. So, but there's 920 total members, 45 paid. I think it's a bit of a victimless crime myself because of that, but that's kind of my theory of reading the forums, watching the videos, trying to understand her and her point of view, and that's what I've come up with. But I think one particular thing that does need to be said is that a lot of ASMR creators, when they try to go down, they try to bring the world down with them. When ASMR creators decide to leave the platform, they destroy their channel, take all the videos down. She hasn't. She's never done that. And she's still helping people through her ASMR, which I think is commendable. I never thought I'd have to say that, because I never thought these big ASMR artists would delete their channels or their videos. But she left them up, which I think is wonderful. I don't know if she's making money off of them, but she left them up, and that is commendable. Number two, the one thing that I found in these forums was just, there was some hate. There's always going to be hate. But Number two is that a lot of people had a lot of affection for her, and Heather Feather was their gateway to get into ASMR. And so, still, not only what she did before, but by leaving her channel open, allows people to still keep clicking on them, finding ASMR, and finding that help. And ultimately, if I can loop back, that's what irritates me about the sexualizing of the ASMR content. Because ASMR, more than anything else, is supposed to help. It's supposed to help individuals with anxiety, depression, insomnia. It's supposed to help. And when you have this sexualization, it's enabling perversion of the mind and the emotions. And that's not me talking, that's psychological studies and people who endeavor to do these things. And it's predatory, and it's stopping people from seeking ASMR because they think that that's what ASMR is, not role plays, not normal stuff. You know, they think that it's something weird and sexual. And so she has been a conduit for so many people to get into ASMR and to have that help and to have that mental health back. So I think if there was a Mount Rushmore of OG ASMR artists, she could make an argument to be on there. So all in all, I want this video to be educational, perhaps a little entertaining, but also to be a bit of a tribute to Heather Feather as well. I hope nothing that I said in this can be construed as me having negative emotions or anger or hate towards her, because if she helped one person, man, she deserves a salute. And I know she's helped a lot of people find sleep, find relaxation, and I think she just got sick and tired of the format coming back. It was not the YouTube she knew. So bada bing, bada boom, bye bye. But Heather Feather, if you see this, I salute you. Thank you for your service in ASMR, getting people here and changing generation of ASMR artists. So thank you, Heather Feather, for all that you have done for the ASMR community, and we keep carrying the torch until you want to come back or enjoy your rest and enjoy the rest of your life. So, thank you, everybody, for viewing this. I know it's not very definitive answers because only Heather knows the truth about why she left and where she is, but I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time.